Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the premium Bandai exclusive Master Grade Gundam Storm Bringer, and it is a pretty awesome kit. So again, if you haven't watched the unboxing video, this is basically a variation of the Master Grade Gym Dominance, but now it's turned into a Gundam. Not only does it have the kind of typical Gundam color scheme, although a lot more blue than usual, it also just has the Gundam head, of course, but a lot of this kit is sharing some parts from the Gym Dominance and also from the Gym Sniper too. There's quite a bit of that in there, but a lot of new parts in there do end up changing the look of this quite drastically, I think. So even if you have the two kits side by side, you can see the similarities, but they're still going to look noticeably different, and we'll take a look at them together later on in the video. But overall, it was a really fun and refreshing kit to build, and it ends up looking really nice. It's got almost nothing in the way of stickers, a lot of really nice color separation there with the little bits of blue and yellow and white everywhere. And so even just straight out of the box, if you were just go in and panel line it and throw some of the decals on there and top coat it, it's going to be looking really, really good. Maybe just painting a couple of the details, and that would really kind of all you would really need to do to get a really good look out of this kit if you don't feel like going the extra mile and fully painting it, that is. And so as always, guys, a huge thank you to SA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review and making it possible. Check the link to their site down below if you want to check out some P-Bandai stuff or any of the stuff that they have there on their site. You can use my coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, on all of that. And let's take a look here at the details. And so I want to start here with the kit first before we take a look at the accessories and just talk about the stickers. The stickers, we've got a sticker there for the eyes, of course, for the head camera on the front and on the back as well. And put that down for the moment. We've got a sticker here on the front of the chest, that tiny little black one there with the little green speck in it. That's supposed to be a little camera there on the front of the chest, I guess, and then this green one here there on like the top of the chest as well. And that is literally all the stickers that it has. So the only foil stickers that it has are just for those bits there for different cameras and things. Now, here on the back, these fuel tanks, as you'll notice, one of them has already fallen off. That's because they're quite loose. If you just move them around a little bit, they're gonna fall out right away. So if you pop it in and just kind of stick it there and don't touch it, it'll be fine. But if you're trying to move it and you move it in some ways, like especially like this, you'll notice it's just going to flop down. So what I recommend is just take this off, put a little drop of super glue on there, obviously wait until it's dry. That'll just add a little bit more thickness onto this, and then once that's plugged in there, that'll be a tighter fit in there. Also, the beam sabers don't really fit on there very tightly either. If I turn it upside down, you notice the beam sabers will just fall right out. So those ones as well, you might want to just add, again, I would say just add a little drop of super glue onto the peg there just to thicken the peg a little bit, so when you plug the beam saber on, it'll be nice and tight on there. And now I don't want to go over all the articulation of the entire kit because it's basically the same as the Gym Sniper 2, the Gym Command, the Gym Sniper Custom, and all these other kits that we've already taken a look at in the past for the most part. But we'll just go over some of the areas where the parts are new. So for example, these front skirts are entirely new. Those will be able to go up to only about there before they're blocked, but that should be enough for you to be able to get the leg up as far as you're going to need, up to the front like that, about 90 degrees basically. This whole knee part is new, and so when we bend the leg like this, you'll notice that knee part does not separate here from this lower part, but I believe that was the same on the Gym Dominance as well. This does not have any sort of cockpit hatch in it at all, so that's just nothing that moves on it there. But we would still have a good amount of bend here forward and back in the stomach section, side to side there as well, also very nice, and just rotation there in the stomach, so that's all still really good. The shoulders, obviously we have this big addition to the top of the shoulders there, but that's not really going to inhibit anything except for when you're wanting to bring the shoulders up like this. You're just going to have to do it in a kind of weird, funky way. You have these bits on the top of the torso as well, which don't really do anything, but they do add some nice bulk to the top of that. And I really like the shape of the backpack. It's kind of hard to see in a lot of the promotional images just because of the angle of it. It does have like these hollow spaces in there, kind of reminds me in a way of like the spoilers on the back of the Age designs, but it's just kind of a little bit further down, a little bit lower profile. And it's just overall, the backpack looks really cool. I really like the look of that, the redesign of that. And so again, the fuel tanks here are on ball joints, but then the beam saber handles, the beam saber racks can actually be rotated there. So you can rotate that forward and back. If you wanted to have that more pointed backwards like that, you could do that. The head obviously is entirely new, and I think it looks really fantastic. The neck joint is also a new part, but the articulation is going to be, again, just basically the same. You can get it up to there and then down to there pointing forward. It is going to have that little bit of extension forward like that, like the Gym Sniper 2 had. So you can pull that forward and then like turn it to the side, so he's like kind of looking off to the side like that. I think the molding of the head is really nice. I talked about this during my live stream build on Twitch of it, that building the head it felt really unique and interesting, and I really liked the way the head went together. It goes together kind of sort of very simply like a high grade, but it works so well, and it just looks really nice. I really like the shape and the design of the head especially, and just all the new parts are all really nicely detailed and all of that. So you've got a lot of nice detail, all this nice little color separation, and just everything looks really, really good. So let's talk about some of the accessories and other stuff that you get with it. You don't get any sort of marking stickers or anything, but you do get a set of waterside decals. Again, really nice waterside decals here. You got some nice big V-card logos there. You got the EFF logo, which again, I believe that's meant to be used on the Polypod ball. And then just some more markings and things here on this one. Actually, yeah, I just checked the manual to be sure, and it doesn't mention anything about the EFF logos, but it does talk about these two logos here being meant to be used for the Polypod ball. So again, if you have that kit, then you'll have some decals included for that with this kit. You've got a just standard action-based connector here. This kit is going to have these swappable fingers. Not really the best option, but it's they work pretty fine. So on the kit there, I've got the closed fists. You also have a set of just extended hands. These look okay, but not really all that great, to be honest. You have a set of just holding fingers. These are meant for the beam saber. And then you have a set of trigger finger hands, and these are meant for the guns. Now, we also, of course, have the two clear pink beam saber effect parts for the beam sabers that are stored up there on his back. And then his main weapon and accessory here is just the double beam rifle. And again, this is the same as what came with the Gym Dominance, but it's very nice. There's nothing really here that moves on except for the camera on the top. We'll just rotate side to side. What you'll do is just to put this in the hand like this, and then you slide this on, plugging this onto like the side of the arm, and it slides onto that like that. And this can be put on either the left or the right side, so you can swap that to the opposite side if you want. So if you got two of these kits or something, or if you have the Gym Dominance and you want to take your double beam rifle from that kit and then give it to this kit, so you can like dual wield with this kit, and then maybe give some different kit to the or give some different weapon to the Gym Dominance, I think that would actually be pretty cool, to be honest. Just by the look of this one, how kind of like beefy and buff that he looks, to dual wield a pair of these double beam rifles would be pretty awesome. And so overall, there's no doubt that the articulation on this kit is fantastic, and definitely not hindered by any of the extra parts that are added onto it in this case, or swapped out in this case. It all looks really nice, and you can put it in pretty much any pose that you would want, so it works out being a really nice master grade. Now, it's always disappointing when we get a master grade as nice as this coming out as a premium Bandai kit, because everyone wants easy access to something this nice, right? Of course. So that, I will admit, very disappointing in this case, but that's just kind of how Bandai went about it, and so that's just what I guess we have to live with, unfortunately. Okay, and so as promised, here's a look at the two kits side by side, the Gym Dominance and the Stormbringer, and you'll notice something's kind of interesting now. If you look, the legs all the way up to about the hips is pretty even there, but then somehow the Gym Dominance is looking much larger at the top. The torso and the head of the Stormbringer are quite small in comparison. You can see how they're scaled down in comparison. It's quite interesting to see them side by side, how small that is in comparison. So it's just kind of something interesting that I don't think I would have noticed without putting them side by side. But again, I think that just goes back to the design style of Naoki, who designed this Gundam. And while we're here, I want to point out something that I forgot to mention before, and that is all the extra parts that you get with this kit. So you get a whole bunch of leftover parts. You get about half the parts needed to make the Gym Dominance head, but while there's not really much that you can do with this without having to take a whole bunch of scrap parts to do something with it, I think this should actually be a pretty useful extra part to have, so you can basically just peg this onto the side of any mobile suit or Gundam's head, and that would actually work pretty well. You have different things like pieces of the back skirt if you prefer like the different back skirt for it. Or if you prefer the Gym Dominance's knee part, then you can use this. That's the knee part, and you do have the part inside of there that's just inside the Stormbringer's knee. Or if you prefer the original front skirt armor, you can have that. You have all the pieces for the front skirt armor here. Also, if you like the lower profile toe of the Gym Dominance and the Gym Sniper too, you have that, whereas the new toe has this much more pointed, almost like Katoki kind of style toe to it. I definitely prefer the new one, but if you do prefer the different kind of style for the feet, a little bit more like old school kind of look to the feet, you do have that original piece if you want to use that instead. And there's a couple other things that I forgot to mention, that the beam saber effect parts can be plugged into that bit on the side of his forearm, so it can be sticking straight out the forearm, like a beam tonfa, I believe it's called, anyway. And then also that you need to remove that part on the side of the forearm when you want to plug on the double beam rifle. So anyway, that's just a couple things there. As for any negatives of the kit, aside from the fact that it's a P-Bandai kit, for stickers, it's pretty much nothing. For seam lines, it's again pretty much nothing on there, so there's really not a whole lot I could say for really anything negative to say about this kit, really, to be honest. It comes with a really nice sheet of waterslide decals. The part separation, the color separation on it already is really fantastic. The articulation is fantastic. Some people might be a little bit disappointed at the fact that this doesn't come with a shield like the Gym Dominance did. Personally, I don't really think the kit really needs much of a shield. It's not really super like armored up like a full armor Gundam or something. It doesn't really quite look the same as the something that you might call a full armor Gundam, but just the appearance of the armor does make it look like really buff, kind of, as I just keep saying, or just really impressive, really intimidating as it is. So I think it doesn't really particularly need a shield. Like the full armor Gundam, for example, doesn't really have a shield. It has that kind of like small shield kind of thing on it, but I don't really think that this really needs a shield. When I look at it just as is with just the beam rifle, I'm not thinking like, yeah, probably would look better with a shield, though. I think it's pretty awesome looking just as it is. That said, if it would have come with a shield, of course, that would have been nice to at least give you more options. But I don't really count it too much against the kit that it didn't include a shield. And so in conclusion, guys, this is a really awesome Master Grade. If you can get your hands on it, I would definitely recommend doing it, even if you had to pay a little bit more for it. I think it's worth it just because of how cool and unique. And I've said this a couple of times throughout the review, and I think this is kind of like the overall feeling that I've had from this, is that it's been a pretty refreshing build. It's a really unique design, kind of. It's still a very average Gundam design, but certain aspects of the build and just like the overall look of it just all have a very kind of unique and fresh take on it. So I really like this a lot. It seems like a really interesting mix of a lot of different aesthetics going in there. I think Naoki did a really good job designing, and I think Bandai did a really good job bringing that design to the model kit form here. So it ends up being a really nice looking kit. So definitely worth checking out. And if you guys have the kit already and built it, what do you think of the kit? Do you agree, or anything that you disagree with? Or if you don't have the kit yet, was the review helpful for you guys? Gave you any new thoughts on the kit, whether you want it more or less now after watching the review? Let me know your feedback down in the comment section below, and any other questions or comments you guys might have, just leave those there as well. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. Thank you once again to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.